The Pentagon just drew a red line. Buy our F-35s or face consequences. NORAD is on the table. The 70-year alliance is threatened. But Canada's response wasn't an apology. It was a declaration of independence. What happened behind closed doors has shocked Washington to its core. This is how a friendship dies. On January 26, 2026, U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra delivered a warning that if Ottawa did not proceed with the full complement of F-35s, NORAD would need to be altered, and the United States might have to fly its own F-35s more frequently into Canadian airspace to fill gaps. This wasn't diplomatic language. This was a threat. Hoekstra specified that if Canada buys only the 16 jets already ordered, the U.S. military will intervene more frequently in Canada, signaling that the NORAD partnership would require reconsideration if Canada purchases the Gripen, viewed as an inferior product, less interchangeable and interoperable than the F-35. The message was crystal clear. If Canada is no longer going to provide that capability, then we have to fill those gaps. Translation: American fighters patrolling Canadian airspace. American control over Canadian sovereignty. The Pentagon keeps a level of oversight over sustaining and upgrading the jets even after a sale, meaning Washington controls every software update, every spare part, every capability upgrade. Canada would own the jets in name only. The State Department tried damage control, but the threat was out there. Andrea Sharon, director of the Center for Defense and Security Studies at the University of Manitoba, stated that public sniping only benefits adversaries and risks undermining the credibility of shared deterrence. Washington had miscalculated, badly. What the Pentagon didn't know, Canada had already made its decision. According to a National Post column by John Ivison published on January 28, 2026, citing unnamed sources, Canadian officials are weighing a mixed fighter fleet that could see Sweden's Saab account for roughly half of the eventual replacement program by value. The formal review was complete. The results were devastating for Lockheed Martin. A majority of surveyed Canadians, 72%, back incorporating the Gripen into Canada's Air Force, either by maintaining a mixed fleet of F-35s and the Gripen, or by switching to the Swedish-made aircraft for future acquisitions, according to an EcoS Politics poll from December, while only 13% of survey respondents said that Canada should stick with F-35s as its main fighter plane. Under the terms of the F-35 program partnering arrangement, Canada is only obligated to acquire 16 F-35A aircraft. The remaining 72 await the decision of Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, and Carney was preparing to walk away. Inside Ottawa, the calculation had shifted. Vincent Rigby, who previously served as National Security and Intelligence Advisor to Justin Trudeau's government, said the escalating rhetoric from Washington has pushed a lot of policymakers in Canada to rethink the defense relationship between the two neighbors. The moment Hoekstra issued his threat, he handed Carney the political cover he needed. In his World Economic Forum address on January 20, 2026, Carney argued that allies will diversify to hedge against uncertainty, framing the shift as a form of risk management in a less rules-bound world. This wasn't retreat, this was strategic autonomy. Last month in Davos, Switzerland, Carney touted Canada's plan to double its defense spending by the end of this decade and to build up domestic industries, with Carney emphasizing that Ottawa is rapidly diversifying abroad. Then came the counterpunch. Swedish defense giant Saab reiterated its offer, informing the Canadian Armed Forces it could deliver on creating 12,600 jobs locally if Ottawa buys the 72 Gripen jets and 6 GlobalEye aircraft. Saab said in December 2025 that localizing production of both the Gripen fighter and the GlobalEye airborne surveillance aircraft in Canada could support up to 12,600 jobs, with Bombardier positioned as a key partner through the existing GlobalEye relationship. Canada wasn't just buying jets, they were building an industry. A new defense and trade cooperation framework signed with the European Union in June 2025 underscored that stance. Canada was publicly pivoting toward Europe while Washington watched in disbelief. Carney's government refused to bow. They called Washington's bluff. Washington's response revealed panic. 12 retired senior Royal Canadian Air Force officers sent a signed letter to key decision-makers in Ottawa, including Prime Minister Mark Carney, cautioning against the idea of truncating the country's future F-35A fleet in favor of buying Gripen E/F fighters from Swedish manufacturer Saab. The pressure campaign was coordinated. Former Chief of Staff of the Canadian Armed Forces, Tom Lawson, stated, "There is nothing available in the free world that comes close to the quality of the F-35 in terms of fighter aircraft," claiming the F-35 is so far beyond anything that the Gripen can provide. But Canada saw through it. Others in Canada have argued that sticking with F-35s would leave Canada overly dependent on the US and its unpredictable foreign policies, with one advisor stating, "We just don't know where the US is going to be in 3, 4, or 5 years." Even American allies were nervous. Denmark's Rasmus Jarlov, head of the Danish Parliament's Defense Committee, has described second thoughts over their F-35 order and has a message for Canada: choose another fighter jet. The cracks in American defense hegemony were showing, and everyone was watching. This is where it gets dangerous. Canada faces 3 paths forward. Path 1, complete capitulation. Buy all 88 F-35s, accept Pentagon control, maintain the alliance. Major General Chris McKenna stresses Canada faces 5th-generation threats and needs overmatch, not compromise, especially in its NORAD role alongside the United States. This is what the military establishment wants. Path 2, the mixed fleet. Canadian defense planners are considering a mixed fighter fleet with no more than 40 F-35A stealth jets paired with up to 80 Gripen E fighters. Compromise, but at enormous operational cost. The result would be multiple logistics chains, additional spare part types, increased training demands, and double the maintenance. Path 3, full break. Cancel the remaining 72 F-35s. Go all in on Gripen with full Canadian production. Strategic independence but alliance rupture. The debate is further complicated by ongoing difficulties in the F-35 program itself, with the U.S. Government Accountability Office revealing that the Block 4 upgrade is now $6 billion over budget and 5 years behind schedule. Russia and China are watching. Every crack in NATO strengthens them. Every division between allies serves their interests. Canada's next move will define North American defense for generations. Washington threatened. Ottawa refused to blink. The longest peaceful border on Earth now hosts the most dangerous military procurement decision in modern history. Someone will back down. But right now, neither side is showing any sign of surrender. The alliance hangs by a thread. Who do you think will win this standoff? Should Canada stand firm or back down? Drop your prediction in the comments. And subscribe now because this story is far from over.